Just setting everything up so that we've got this live for a change, and we are recording.
Uh,
So any stupid mistakes we make tonight, and any bad predictions we make, are going to be on YouTube forever.
Barrett to win. There we go. That's my stupid prediction done.
That's not a prediction. And apparently, we will be graced with Rory's great presence.
Jesus.
And he has offered to come on tonight and actually show the real Rory.
Okay. I may have to nip down in a little bit and grab a drink.
Yeah, that's no problem, man. How we doing, Rancis?
Right, just sorting this shit out.
What's new? And I have options to mute people today, so this is a positive.
Hey.
And I believe Skeletor is going to come and join us, and I believe that will sound fairly strange when it goes on YouTube. Especially for anyone that has no idea who he is. So, I thought tonight, obviously with it being Money in the Bank, we could maybe talk over a couple of things that, that we might think would happen. Give a couple of our predictions, and obviously we can go on from there.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm just sorting some stuff out with a game I'm playing. Doing in a sec.
It's no problem, man.
There we go.
A lot of people on Twitter tonight, after, I posted a comment saying basically, if Cena wins, don't freak out. Just accept it, and don't say you're going to miss Raw. No one ever believes you. If you're going to miss Raw, miss Raw. Don't tell people.
I may, but that's more because I'm agreeing with what Austin said.
No, I mean, there's all these people every single week.
Oh yeah, I've seen a wins.
Yeah, if Cena wins, man, I'm never gonna watch Raw.
Yeah, but remember all those signs. If Cena wins, we riot, and it's like, really, when has that ever happened?
The thing is, even if they did riot, it gives WWE better ratings. That's not the way you boycott a show. They should have learned this from Chicago Raw.
Yeah, but all they'd have to do is throw bottles and stuff at Cena. I think they'd get the message.
I think they'd get the message from that too, but I mean, if you want to really riot, you do it like old ECW, and you throw your chairs in the ring.
Oh yeah.
Can't see it ever happening, but it would be a hell of a spectacle.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly wishing Cena gets thousands of chairs lobbed at him, but it would be interesting to see.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with the first question. What do you think is going to happen on tonight's pre-show with Daniel Bryan?
Pre-show is very unpredictable at the moment. I think it'll be Daniel Bryan, giving us a bit of an update on how he's doing, when we can expect him back. He'll basically say, as soon as I'm back, I'm not going. I'm going straight for the title. I think he'll be trying to reassure the crowd and the viewers, the casual fans, that he's trying to get back. Blah blah blah.
Okay. Rensis, you able to talk yet, or are you still busy? Hello. We are live.
Still sorting his stuff out a little bit.
And he tells me to sort my shit to get this live. Honestly. Okay, I mean, in all honesty, I can see Daniel Bryan coming out and talking a bit, like you said, when he's expected back, what's going to happen with him, and where he's going to go. But,
I can also, by the way, expect Stephanie McMahon to come out.
Yeah, you see, I've got a bit of an issue with this, though. Someone made a good point that I read the other day. When did you ever see main event stars like Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold, Taker, Kane, all these guys on a pre-show?
Yeah, this is the thing that I was reading today. It seems a lot of the higher-ups have lost faith in Daniel Bryan and his ability to main event now because of his injury, which I really do not understand. A lot of people have also been putting out the fact that he only got pushed because CM Punk left, and it's not because of his talent.
I can see why someone would say that, and I can understand, like, he was going to face Sheamus at WrestleMania.
Which would have been a terrible match.
Which, yeah, admittedly, no one wanted to see, really.
Yeah, no.
So, on you go.
I'm gonna say, yeah, no one wanted to see Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, and no one even wanted to see Punk leave. But the fact that he did kind of pushed them. But now they're looking at people like Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt and everybody else. I think that a lot of the higher ups are saying, "Do we really need Daniel Bryan in the main event?"
Yeah, I mean, to me, Daniel Bryan, right, is one of these guys that can be put anywhere on the card and be good. He doesn't need to be in that main event picture, but he kind of deserves to be for a little while, you know?
Yeah, it's a bit like the situation with Ziggler. Ziggler's one of those guys that the officials lost faith in, and I don't want to push anymore. Which sounds like what's happening with Bryan, but the fans are still behind him. The fans still love to watch him perform, and you know it's one of them things. He'll find his way back to the main event. If
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan does not find his way back to the main event within the next year, I will be incredibly shocked.
Yeah, you see, I was thinking about this today when I was discussing my SummerSlam card and where I can see things going. Let's say Daniel Bryan isn't healed by SummerSlam, right? You're going to get the winner of Money in the Bank versus Lesnar, most likely Cena. In fact, either way, I believe you're going to get Cena Lesnar.
Actually, I'm gonna say it's not necessarily the winner of Money in the Bank, but yeah,
Yeah, well, whoever's the champion, sorry. Um, I think you're going to get Cena Lesnar, you'll get Rollins Ambrose, you get Reigns Triple H,
hmm
and you'll get Wyatt versus someone.
I'm not sure what they'll be doing with. Uh, I'm sure there'll be something going on with the briefcase. If they haven't used it by then, someone will be feuding for the briefcase or some crap.
Yeah, now you see, in that top three, those are maybe the top three matches on a card at the minute. I can't see Daniel Bryan being slotted in there comfortably. I mean, it leaves you a lot of people like Orton, Kane, um, in some ways Sheamus.
I think we could expect to possibly see Brian Cesaro.
I think that'd be interesting.
I think that'd be a good match, and I think that would also help legitimize Cesaro a bit more.
Yeah, see, I worry they're going to do this with Bryan, that they're going to use him currently until they can find a way to put him into the main event again to elevate other talents.
Which to me is
But
how they should be using Cena at this point.
yeah, however, the issue with using Bryan to elevate talent is that it only pushes him further back down the card.
Yeah. But
Um,
sometimes, you have to be willing. Let's look at Jericho. Jericho basically jobbed to Fandango at WrestleMania. The man basically went from being a main eventer to low card jobbing, but I think it's safe to say that it comes with the job.
yeah, I agree. One thing Rancis has suggested is that we get Bryan versus Bray. Now, I think it would be a good match. We've seen it before, but it didn't really get a long time. It was very, here's Bryan and Bray. Oh, Bryan's in the family. Oh, Bryan's out of the family.
I see Brian Cesaro or Brian Kane.
Yeah, I believe we're still going to get the Kane buried alive match with Bryan
Oh,
at some point.
I hope to God we don't, because that's going to be a god awful match.
Well, I want to say, like, obviously, if Bryan comes out tonight, he's got to show some kind of anger or some kind of other emotion than sorrow. Because recently he's been saying how sorry he is that he can't defend the title and that he feels he kind of let the fans down and that he'll be back. He needs to show some kind of power that he's going to come back and he's going to make up for himself. But the best way to do that is to attack the man that took him out in the first place, or took him out kayfabe storyline.
Yeah. I also think that it would be great to see. Well, this is going to be an awkward position because the way that they're setting things up now, they're setting things up for Roman Reigns, really. Roman Reigns versus Triple H, which I wonder if it's going to be to dismantle the authority. Uh, or, head in that direction. Otherwise, I would suggest Bryan to be put in that role. Because, Bryan and Stephanie McMahon and Triple H have had this ongoing thing since Royal Rumble. That I'd say Bryan should be the guy to win the authority, but I can see why. It seems like they're going towards Reigns doing that more than anybody else.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if you want to take it as far back as that, it almost went back as far as SummerSlam last year.
Yeah.
This is why another option, if Bryan is back and healed, Orton would be another viable opponent. It would be 1 year on, and it's almost like finishing a story that has to be wrapped up, like Bryan is fighting his demons.
I was
So,
wondering what would be going on with Orton, actually.
yeah, again, whoever comes out of this match tonight as the Money in the Bank winner guarantees himself a fairly safe spot in the card. There will be a story for him to go into.
When
However, those who don't win the championship are leaving themselves in a very dry situation where people aren't going to be able to pinpoint what's going on, which is a good thing. I'll give WWE that. If they don't know what's going on with the fans, they can't complain what's going on. However, being dry from a storyline point of view is not a good thing. You
no,
don't have anywhere to go, you don't have anyone to feud with, and you have nothing left at all.
well, this is why I think Reigns is going to get screwed in this Money in the Bank match, and that will be what builds to Reigns versus Orton and Kane, and then Reigns versus Triple H.
Yeah, with Battleground being the next pay-per-view, I can either see Reigns Orton or Reigns Kane.
I think it'll be Orton.
However, I don't want to say it's too much too soon. I'd like to see Reigns versus Orton and Kane in a handicap match. It can be no disqualifications, and Reigns could still win it that way. Both guys still look strong on the losing side because they were screwed over because he used weapons.
I was going to say that would be very interesting because then you could also get Ambrose involved, possibly, which would, I understand that WWE at the moment is trying to think of Ambrose, Reigns, and Rollins as three separate entities. But if you're going to put him in a 2-on-1 match like that, he'd need help, which would then also tie into Ambrose and Rollins. If Ambrose interferes and then Rollins comes down and interferes, those two scrap it out.
I'm still tinkering with this idea that Kane maybe hasn't just been put into this match by the Authority for a random reason. Obviously, they're pushing this idea that Kane is there to help Orton win and prevent Reigns from getting the belts.
Yeah, that's why I say they're going to screw him.
Yeah, I fully believe they're going to screw him. But what if they use the idea that Kane, he stops Reigns, yes. But what if Kane goes into business for himself?
Yeah, Kane stops Reigns and Orton.
Yeah, because they keep telling us and reminding us how unstoppable Demon Kane is. If Demon Kane is so unstoppable, then why is he being controlled by the Authority?
This is the problem I've got with WWE and their inconsistencies, really. I mean, they're trying to sell us on the fact that Kane is an absolute monster. Name me one monsterish thing he's done since WrestleMania. Except for attack Bryan by storyline.
Yeah, there's a fair bit.
There's not really a lot they've done to signify him as a monster. I mean, it's the same problem I've got with Lesnar. Lesnar at least came out and destroyed 3MB.
Yeah,
Kane's not even done that.
Very different, so to say. Like, I didn't expect Lesnar to be going hunting after 3MB.
Well, it was just the fact that the thing I will never forget was how fast Lesnar moved when I think it was Drew McIntyre went to run around. And you see Lesnar dart out the ring and clothesline him.
Yeah.
That sold me on.
I don't like to make of him in some ways, because obviously Lesnar is the monster that we all expect. But a monster should not be attacking lower jobber guys. He should be attacking higher up main eventers, or at least higher mid card guys.
The only reason I found that entertaining was because it was 3-on-1 and he demolished them.
The F5 that Heath Slater took looked vicious.
I mean, the 3 F5s that he took.
Yeah. One for each member of 3MB, so, the one-man band deserved it.
What sold
Rentis, who I know is loving this at the minute.
What sold me on that, though, was how fast you saw Lesnar move, considering his size.
You know what? Lesnar is very, very shockingly fast. It's almost deceptive in some ways. His speed, I would say, is almost rivaled by Lashley. And I know people compare them a lot, but Lashley can move so quick for a big guy.
When I watched Lesnar's documentary, he actually was described as being a genetic freak. That's the only real way I can describe him.
Yeah, considering he's one of these guys that is completely natural built, and a lot of people will dispute that. He's got his own gym, he trains every day, you saw the MMA stuff.
He's not entirely natural. He used to take growth hormones. But that
That
was
was for body reasons, though. That wasn't for
yeah, that was medical purpose, but it still had
Yeah.
an effect.
But obviously back to tonight's card. What match do you see starting off the card?
Unfortunately, I see something like Big E versus Rusev.
Yeah, I thought that. And then I thought, with WWE's current standpoint, they've been doing, like a slightly bigger match to begin the card, just to get the crowd entertained.
It'll probably be the tag team then.
I thought either tag team or the contract match.
No, I really don't think.
I think if you put too many ladder matches right next to each other, they're gonna get too spaced out, and the
What, what,
crowd will zone out of the action.
what you need is a ladder match, a squash match, and another ladder match. That's how I'd do it. Or I'd have them done back to back.
I think back to back would be too much. I think the crowd would see too many spots, and it would make the first match forgettable.
In that case, I would have the first ladder match in the first, towards the second half of the first hour.
Yeah, maybe like the second or third match.
Yeah, second or third, and then, obviously, World Heavyweight Championship match is the last.
Yeah, like you said, realistically, the only other one I could see doing is Rusev Big E, and if that happens, that'll be over in the first 15 minutes.
Yep. What I actually noticed, there's 2 Divas matches on the card tonight.
There is, however, Layla tweeted earlier that she wants a dance-off with Summer Rae.
That'll turn into a fight anyway.
This is the same issue that WWE keep getting with all of their divas. They don't treat them seriously, and if you're not going to let them wrestle a match, like both Summer Rae and Layla can do, then why aren't they even on the card?
I am personally hoping that Naomi and Paige get a good 15-20 minute match.
I think
Because
it'd be nice, and it'd be interesting to see a good long divas match.
NXT and apparently over the live events this weekend, there were a couple. Don't give me the thumbs down for that. But there was apparently a very good last night, a very, very, very good live event Divas match that a lot of people were saying was phenomenal.
Do you know what? The divas do deserve more time. A lot of them do. However, right now, I'll agree with Rankliffe, who's shaking his head and giving you the thumbs down. But they are not going to get 15 to 20 minutes on this card. They're getting 5 to 10 minutes tops.
That's being realistic, yeah. They'll get a 5-10 minute match realistically.
Oh, what was that, Rankliffe?
Completely awful. Huh?
I'm not. Go
Awful, dude, awful. If I see Paige and Naomi going past 5 minutes, that's gonna be awful.
What if they used? Because have you seen Paige's indie matches?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of what
I'm not. I love Paige and I like Naomi too, but I'm not invested in their characters enough to be interested in a 10-minute match.
I'm interested to see how the Naomi and Cameron part's going to play into it, but I can get what you mean, to be fair. There's not enough character behind either of them.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't mind seeing Paige versus
AJ.
maybe AJ or another really, really, really good worker. To me, Naomi is the best athlete on their roster, but she's still not quite ready to handle a 15-minute match.
She's a little bit green.
But you talk about athletics, she is amazing in terms of
Oh yeah, she is. I definitely
the
say
ceiling. The ceiling is really high for her.
I would definitely say that considering her athleticism, there is a lot of potential for Naomi to be a very good diva later down the line. But I think what they really need to do in order to get there is give the divas more time and to stop training them to be, 5-minute squash matches. Here's what you're gonna do, same moveset. You're limited to 10 moves a match, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I tell you, you've got the same situation now with Paige. Yeah, with AJ. AJ early in her Divas Championship run was doing some of these same things, absolutely carrying people who aren't at the level where they deserve championship matches. And then AJ completely ran out of gas. She just got to a point where everything was very, very samey. Everything was very, very boring. And at some point, Paige is going to get to that point too, unless they find someone who doesn't bore her.
I think she already has.
AJ was having the same match every a month for like half a year.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is that at the beginning of AJ's run, she was interesting. She got into her matches. She gave everything she had, but eventually you get to the point where it's like, you keep feeding me these people who don't even deserve to be in the ring with me. That's not even, that's not even. I'm not trying to be hard on the other divas, but they're not on AJ's level. Most of them. I mean, almost any of them.
I've noticed the same problem with Paige as of late. I mean, you talk about the same match. It pretty much is the same match for Paige every single match on Raw. You'll always see her get knocked down once or twice, but that's about it. And then she'll always finish with the Paige tap out.
Yeah, I want them to build to. It needs to build to something.
Yeah, what they really need to do, in my opinion, is turn Paige heel and give her a very sharp. They need to develop the character a hell of a lot more, and then in terms of in-ring, like Renta said, they need to give somebody who's on her level. Someone like, I'd love to see Paige and Charlotte go at it. I mean, that would be a match.
Okay, let me just say something here then. We're talking about the length of Divas matches and, the level that Divas are on. Obviously, Paige, to a lot of people, is on quite a high standard. But on a point that we hit the other day, and a point that we mentioned just now, what do we know about Paige so far, other than the fact that she's British and very, very white? Right? Now, this is all well and good, but Naomi and Cameron have been around, a little bit longer, and I can see why people have this issue. Cameron's not great in the ring, and my God, she's not great on the mic at understanding and letting people have, an opinion talking. But when these two feud, it's going to mean bigger things for Naomi on the outcome when she looks better, because she has schooled Cameron so bad in the ring, and it's not going to be good. Cameron needs to hope that her song is going to take off, because right now she's going to be left in the gutter. Paige on her own will be fine. She doesn't even need to have the belt. She will put on a good match, like you said, Chris. The whole reasoning behind tonight's match, where I feel Paige will lose, but she'll lose due to DQ and she'll keep her title, is because Cameron is going to attack Paige and not Naomi. Because I think they'll set up Paige Naomi 2 next month. Because obviously, Naomi needs to get a good showing. But Cameron Naomi is going to be the match that happens at SummerSlam.
If we don't get AJ Lee come back.
Is that going to happen anytime soon?
That's one of those things that's in debate, because there's a rumour going around she's pregnant. A lot of people are saying she's not pregnant. There was actually an interesting picture of her and Punk going for a run. And Punk's horribly out of shape, by the way. Just like to point that out.
It's been 5 months now? 5 months? Nothing?
Yeah, well, to be...
Yeah. I think he's been out since Royal Rumble, so
yeah,
since January.
Yeah, about 5 months, give or take.
5 months of no training, and you're doing something like wrestling, your body will go.
Well, this was my theory when I actually saw a picture of him going for a run. Is he may be training again to get back, or he was just going for a run with AJ. You never know. But yeah,
Fair point.
The fact that AJ's out for a run, I would take it as a nice sign that possibly she's looking at, she's keeping her strength up and everything, so she can get back in the ring.
Okay. Well, tell you what. Moving on from the Divas. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty of tonight. Right, we think... Chris, sorry, on you go, Chris. Let's make one last point.
I'd just like to point out, the betting odds tonight on the Usos, they are apparently they seem to be favourites to lose this match. Everyone seems to think that the Wyatts are going to win. I mean, I placed a bet for £5, and if I placed a bet for £5 on the Usos, if they win, I get £18.50. You know, that's a 4-to-1, isn't it? 4-to-1
Yeah,
odds
roughly
almost.
4-1.
Yeah, not quite 4-to-1, but close. I don't get where that figure's come from, because it feels wrong.
Right, I tell you what. Let's discuss this tag match and get this all out in the open right now. As much as I love the Usos, I think they're a great team and they're going to build to so much more over the coming years. But these guys could be just as good as the Hardys were. They've got the crowd behind them already, but they're so much better chasing the titles. With that in mind, if the Wyatts get the belt tonight,
Rowan.
these guys are getting natural heel heat. They're going to be okay with that. Right? And the Usos can chase those titles for the next 3 to 4 months, and people won't get too bored of it, so long as other teams get involved as well.
I was going to say, you see, to me the problem is, you've got Rowan. If it was Luke Harper and somebody else, I'd say fine, give them the titles, but it's Rowan in the ring, and Rowan is green as goose shit. Like, the guy cannot pull his weight.
I'm on the understanding that I actually quite like Rowan in the fact that he's doing what a big bruiser is meant to do. Harper moves quick and puts on a good ring show. But
Yeah.
Rowan, although he's green, puts on a very, very, demanding presence almost in the ring. When he's in there, you watch him. Whether you like it or not, you know you're watching his match.
When I mean Rowan is green, I mean, I'm not saying that, he's not doing what's entertaining. I mean, everyone knows he's a bruiser. But it comes to a point when, he goes to punch somebody and misses by a good few inches that's visible on camera. Like, I don't think he's polished enough for it. I feel that the Usos would be better retaining until either, let's call them the Dust Dynasty, or the Ascension. One of those.
Well, I kind of see the Wyatts winning, just so that Stardust and Goldust can feud with them before their eventual breakup. So that way it's an actual heel versus face team. Heel versus face feud.
Rents is pointing out the Usos have improved so much, by the way. I'd just like to point that out. And they really have.
Why is Renz talking entirely through chat now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's gone to get something to eat because he didn't realise we were recording.
Yeah, I'd like to point out, I'm not unsure if this is recording, but we are definitely broadcasting live on YouTube just now.
We're on YouTube.
Everyone on a 3, 2, 1 will all say hi to YouTube, okay? 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hello,
YouTube show.
Hello.
Well done, guys. I'm actually surprised.
Perfect.
We've got... How many viewers have we got? 2?
2 to 3.
When Rory shows up, we're going to give him the same kind of love. Because we know he's listening right now, but he's just not.
You know for a fact that Rory is not a real person.
He's not actually listening, He's actually just in the chat. He's not listening to the call.
I could even say that Rory is the one viewer we have right now.
Actually, he might be the one watching now, yes. That's a very good point.
You just know for a fact that if Rory joins, it'll just be levels with a slightly higher voice.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay?
Sorry.
That's the only thing that's gonna be.
Right, okay. Let's go for the tag match then. John, what are your thoughts?
On the tag match.
Yeah, the tag match tonight. Who do you see winning?
I sort of wouldn't mind seeing the Wyatts because, like you say, they're naturally a heel type of team. That I've always felt the Wyatt family were specifically sort of a heel type of group because they're wanting to take over everything. It's a very selfish, greedy thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's it in its simplest form.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Harper and Rowan is that Harper and Rowan, separated from Bray, get like 1,000,000 times the heel heat that they do when they're with Bray.
They do. Okay, so Skeletor, what do you think tonight? Who do you see winning?
I do see the Wyatts winning, just because those have had a pretty decently long reign at this point. Like, it's been 4.5 months. Like, that's above average for tag teams. and the Wyatts need something to cement them as like a real team and not just Bray Wyatt's lackeys. So I feel like a tag team titles would actually make it so that these are the guys, like these are the heel tag team.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of, a lot of hoo-ha just now around the Wyatt. As Chris said, Rowan comes across as fairly green. Harper seems to be the one pulling the team. I see nothing wrong with that. I felt that way for years about Edge and Christian. Um, I kind of feel like Edge was always the better one as an entertainer, but Christian was great in the ring. I kind of feel Rowan just now is the one that's a bit more of the entertainer, but Harper's the one that can pull them through. Um, let's see, Chris, just for clarification, are you saying that the Usos win tonight, or are you saying the Wyatts win?
I have a fiver on Usos winning, so I'm going to say that the Usos better bloody win.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I gotta hope for the Usos just to hope that Chris makes some money. But I
Right, well,
do genuinely think the Wyatts are probably gonna pull it out.
let's just say then, for the sake of saying it, Rancis agrees with Chris that the Usos are going to win. So let's hope you're in for the bit of money tonight.
Well, I'd just like to throw in quickly. I see the Usos winning tonight, losing possibly next month, purely because I don't think there's been enough of a build.
Good point, actually.
Okay. So next on the card, you know what? I'm going to mix this up a bit. Let's say the Money in the Bank contract match, because this is one we spoke about on Monday before Raw, and a few of us, we had a bit of a talk during the week about it as well. Who do you see winning this match? Already, Rancis is straight in, and he's saying Seth Rollins.
Well, again,
So, who do you have money on this time, Chris?
Again, I've got money on both Barrett and Ambrose, purely because I'm not sure if Barrett's even going to be in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have this image in my head that won't go away, which is Dolph Ziggler is like holding the briefcase and about to win, and then Barrett, in like this move that cements him as a heel, just shows up and knocks Dolph off the ladder, and then climbs up and pulls it down.
See, the other image I had, which is an interesting one, is Rollins winning this, Reigns winning the World Heavyweight Championship match and getting screwed by Orton and Kane, and Ambrose and Rollins then cashes in.
There's a reason. I don't think a young dude is going to win the main match, the main WWE World Heavyweight Title match, purely because that hurts Daniel Bryan a lot when he shows back up. Because if Kane or Orton or even Cena wins, Daniel Bryan can come back and beat them and still be like the face. But if Daniel Bryan beats up on Roman Reigns or even Cesaro, it's a weird thing.
I actually mentioned the levels before you got here, Skeletor, and I'm glad you brought that up about Bryan. There's actually some stuff going around backstage where it seems like a lot of the higher up officials in the company don't want to push Bryan.
It's not that they don't want to push him, it's that they don't feel he's got the same pushing power he had before.
Yeah, basically.
They feel his pinnacle was at WrestleMania 30, and because he's been injured, they feel it was the worst possible time for it to happen, and they don't feel they can trust him to be pushable.
It was the worst possible time for it to happen, but I do also feel like they've invested too much into Daniel Bryan. They invested 9 months of storylines into Daniel Bryan, and I feel like they're not going to just let it go at this point.
But again, at the moment, it feels like they're building mostly for Roman Reigns, Cesaro, and Wyatt, and Ambrose and Rollins as well. I feel that they will take priority over Bryan.
Yeah, I don't see that, honestly, at this point. I don't see it.
Okay, so John, who do you see winning the contract match tonight?
Just thinking about that, I'm relatively unsure. I like the idea that because Barrett's injured, he might be able to just appear at the end and just win it without actually fighting. But apart from that, I don't really know. Can you tell?
I think
Also, Rensus in the comment is 100% right that this "we don't trust Brian" crap is planted. This is the new kayfabe because there was friggin' tons of that crap before Daniel Bryan won the WWE World Heavyweight Title and beat Triple H, beat Orton, and beat Batista. I just feel like it's crap at this point.
Yeah, there was a lot of there was a lot of issues before when they were talking about Bryan winning, that he was too small, and the only reason Batista came back was to win his title. And a lot of people believed that. But because now...
it didn't happen, though.
Yeah, because WWE realized that these guys, they read the internet, they read all the rumors, and all the smart marks are out there doing their thing. And no offense to you, Chris, I mean, I did the same thing, I read the same rumor.
I mean, it's reality era, bitch. Come on. This is what we're doing now.
The greatest way to put it for me is, even if they don't trust Bryan, they have to put him there because fans care too much.
I actually do very much agree with that.
Yeah, but they also, another reason I super don't believe that they don't trust him is that when Daniel Bryan, when Rey Mysterio got his first world title reign, he jobbed out all the time to everybody. He only won his title matches, and of which there was only 3. Well, Daniel Bryan was beating dudes on Raw, beating dudes on SmackDown, and has gone over on every single one of the biggest stars in the company. I just don't feel it.
Yeah, I mean, this whole size thing, I can understand them wanting big guys in the company, but I also think that they aren't stupid enough to say only big guys are going to deserve the push. Because, let's look at Punk, for example. Punk's not a big guy. Punk got a push. Bryan's not big.
I also feel like Triple H, despite Triple H being a bodybuilder, seems to care less about the big guy thing than Vince did.
Yeah, I think that's because Triple H has had more in-ring experience with guys like Rey Mysterio and people that have really proven that wrong.
Because, at least from what I've seen, friggin' Triple H seems to be super into Sami Zayn. Super into Sami Zayn.
Okay, so Skeletor, who do you see winning tonight?
The Money in the Bank one? The contract one? Yeah, if Barrett's in it, I see Barrett. If not, I honestly kind of see Ziggler in the contract match. Just because Triple H has been crapping on him several times for the last several weeks. He's been having these weird mini feuds with Evolution. One night on SmackDown, he'll have a little Batista thing for 3 weeks. It's weird. Also, yeah, I don't know if CM Punk, who's 6'1", 230, is a little guy.
Yeah, but saying that, comparing to someone like Cena who's shorter than him, but muscular, he's a lot bigger, and you look at people like Ryback and Lesnar, and I wouldn't say he's a small guy, but compared to the most of the roster, he's not the biggest.
Yeah, he's in the line of Shawn Michaels's and Bret Hart's.
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't say Shawn Michaels is a big guy.
No, but I'm saying that he's about the same size as CM Punk. Shawn and Punk are the same height and weight.
So Chris, who have you got winning then?
Like I've said, I really want to see Barrett win, even if he's injured. I would love him to just walk into the match and just grab the briefcase while everyone's out or something.
Yeah. I just see him coming in at the end and using his good arm to elbow Dolph Ziggler off the ladder or whatever.
Could you not imagine someone just someone's holding onto the thing? All you see is Barrett just runs in, climbs up the ladder, and just hammer elbows this guy straight off.
But it has to be Ziggler if Barrett's a heel, because he's the only guy more over or equal or similarly over to him who gets babyface heat.
Ziggler or Ambrose. Well, not Ambrose, Rollins.
Realistically, for Barrett to come out, if he's going to knock someone off the top of the ladder, there needs to be the promo, "I've got some bad news," before, when they're at the top of the ladder, and if they're all on the ground, he cuts the promo after he's picked up the briefcase.
Can I say, I would just love him to...
There needs to be that moment where he shocks the person on the top of the ladder.
I see. I like the idea of, because he hits Dolph or whoever, and then he pulls down the briefcase, and then he gets out the mic, and then is like, I bet you thought Dolph Ziggler was gonna win, but I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Oh yeah, I'd completely love him to just walk in, not say anything, hit somebody off, and then just, even if he just looks down at Dolph Ziggler and just goes, Dolph, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Yeah.
You know, I'd just be there like, this is absolutely fantastic. That would make it for me. And you mentioned about Ziggler getting blocked off. I could see it happening to Rollins, because Rollins takes a lot of crazy bumps.
No, but see, the thing is, Barrett is a heel, but he barely ever does stuff that, like, cements him as a heel.
I was going to say, he's not over as a heel.
He does get heel heat if he's taking on, like, Dean Ambrose or somebody else who's, like, even more of a babyface. But this would be, if he took out Ziggler, this would be a moment that cemented him as a heel. Because that would piss people off like crazy.
Okay, well, I tell you what, see, this match, I've got two ways of this going, right? Either Barrett wins in the way we've been talking about, or Seth Rollins wins, and it's only to further the feud with Ambrose and give them something more, I don't want to say prestigious to fight over. Like, yes, the feud is good and we understand why they're
It
fighting.
gives them a physical thing to fight
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Tangible.
I'd like Ambrose to win it purely because you could then have, you know, Ambrose talking about how Rollins left because he thought he was better than them, but he clearly isn't because Ambrose has the briefcase.
But it also makes Seth look like a dumbass for including Dean in the match.
Yeah. That would also be brilliant. Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, that's why I kind of don't want it to happen, because Seth just looks like the biggest dumbass in the world. If he did weeks of, if I have my eyes on him, I can stop him, and then he can't.
The reason I want that to happen is because I think it would be good to explain why Seth Rollins isn't in Evolution, even though he just left the Shield to help Evolution.
Is he not part of Evolution?
No.
Triple H dropped a Orton's the present, I'm the past, and Seth is the future on SmackDown.
Yeah. The whole idea is that Rollins isn't actually a member of Evolution, which is why I think Rollins now losing to Ambrose because of Ambrose and because of Rollins' own decision would be an excellent opportunity for Triple H to turn around and say, you're not one of us.
Yeah.
No, I would, a lot of people are going to hate me for this. I know it's because I'm a bit of a mark. But I think Kofi is going to be overplayed as the guy that nearly wins it this year.
Oh yeah, Kofi will be the guy who either does something crazy as hell, or gets incredibly, incredibly close.
Like, they need to be pushing him as this guy that can do the big spots and can do the matches, but he just never gets that win.
That would actually be interesting to see Barrett come in. If Barrett comes in, Barrett takes out Kofi if Kofi's about to get it.
Yeah, because, I mean, you look at guys like Ziggler. Ziggler's held that briefcase. He doesn't need to hold it again. Right, there has only been one guy that's held it twice, and that's Punk. And I've got nothing against Ziggler.
Oh, Edge did it twice.
I prefer Ziggler over Punk, but I do not see him holding this briefcase twice.
I think it would be great to see, like you've said, because Kofi, again, is one of those guys that is so underrated, and some people want to see him in the main event. But, hello?
No, Kofi's not good enough for the main event.
No, but he's somebody that a lot of people would like to see in the main event, which is why I would love to see. You know, I think it'd also be great, you know, if the fans are surprised because Kofi's about to win and then Barrett comes in and just takes him out.
Yeah, it's just something I've not seen about Kofi is despite what people say, dude's a spot monkey, and if you put him in a meat and potatoes like 10-minute match, he's bad. Like he has bad like regular matches most of the time.
Oh
See,
yeah,
I think you know, like Chris said, he's one guy that a lot of people get behind. I'm not going to say I think he's main event. I'd love to see him there, but I don't think he's capable of it just yet. However, this guy, to me, resembles so much Jeff Hardy, it hurts. Like, he's doing the big spots. He's doing these big moments that people remember. But he's never going to get that gold until he gets one breaking chance. And when he does, it'll either make him or break him.
Yeah,
they could tease it so much in this match.
What he really needs now is character development. That is literally it.
Yeah.
I mean, in ring, his in-ring ability is absolutely fantastic. You know, he is highly underrated in the ring, I'd say. But in terms of character, he doesn't have it yet, and he needs to work on that. And that needs to be a goal that WWE needs to commit to.
Well, the Oh.
Sorry, on you go, man.
The Orton Hardy feud turned Hardy into like a main event star, and they tried a feud between Orton and Kofi almost immediately after that. If you look back, and
Yeah.
it didn't go half as well.
Yeah, well, that's
Because
because you
Kofi is
can't.
no Jeff Hardy.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's
that's
not-
because you can't pull the same trick twice.
Yeah, I will say that booking was partially WWE's fault. Because one, they did it the month after, like you said, and then the situation arose that 1 week Kofi did that spot with the tables, and Jericho said this as well. He does the spot with the tables in Madison Square Garden, and the crowd goes nuts. Like, they go ape shit crazy. And then the week later, he's on Superstars jobbing to Funaki because they didn't know what to do with him. Like, that is completely WWE's fault. You don't get behind a guy who loses to the jobber.
That's true. Kofi lost to Heath Slater on Superstars like a month ago.
Kofi's
Yeah.
had some terrible, terrible luck in this company.
I mean, in a lot of ways, his booking to me is a lot like Kane's, in that they don't know what to do with him once he gets past a certain point.
Yeah, but they always find a new thing to do with Kane. Like, they always find a new direction to take Kane, even if there's like a weird gap period. Like Kane got boring for 6 months, and then they put him in Team Hell No, and that was
Yeah.
awesome.
The only reason they do that to me is because he was so big in the Attitude Era that they still think they can pull something out of him, whereas Kofi's not already established.
But they do pull stuff out of Kane. Like, Kane gets good stretches, like really good stretches. Like, Team Hell No was great, and got Daniel Bryan over. And Kane has had like a lot of him and Big Show in like 2005 was a fantastic tag team. Like they find a new thing to do with him after like him being kind of in an awkward in between place for a while, like every time.
Yeah.
The one person-
I've just realised if Rory doesn't show up in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to have all 2,000 of my fake followers come and kick his ass.
Well,
he told
because
them-
then it's also proven he's not a real person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just a bot.
I'd just like to point out somebody we didn't speak about, Swagger.
No, there's no reason to talk about Swagger.
There is no reason to talk about Swagger.
I know, I just figured I'd stir up.
I mean, Swagger has never held a world championship.
Swagger is one, considering Swagger just injured Barrett pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Swagger lost his money in the bank opportunity. Shut up.
I mean, he shot himself in the foot, really. Any chance he had disappeared the minute that the incident with Barrett occurred, and when
Have
he
you
broke
noticed
or injured his nose last week, because that was his own fault.
He did 2 super overly stiff throws into the barricade to Barrett, because he did the first one that was way too much, and then did the second one.
What was that about a nose?
He injured his nose. I think it was either this week's Raw or last week's Raw. But it wasn't the other guy's fault. He basically didn't move out of the way and went forward into it rather than coming away from it.
See, this is, when you look at Swagger, Swagger is one of those guys that to me would probably do better in NXT or being released, because we're at a point now where you've mentioned Barrett gets injured, you know, when he's about to get an opportunity. Swagger got done for DUI last year at WrestleMania when he was supposed to win, and as a result he lost. He then gave Dolph Ziggler a concussion. And, you know, I just feel like Jack Swagger's been given enough opportunities and has blown every one of them.
I think he's fine if you just put him in a tag team. Like, just if they find a second grab a dude who's not doing anything and make a second Real American and bring back the Real Americans tag team, I think he's fine.
Now, if
I say be creative. You throw in Mojo Rawley.
Mojo Rawley.
It makes Swagger look good in the ring, and on top of that, it gives Rowley something to do, being a big powerhouse.
I'll say Mojo's corner splashes look less terrible now. He used to get nowhere near them, and now he actually makes some level of impact.
But to be fair though, Swagger is one of those guys that to me, you know, he's like David Otunga, how people used to say David Otunga is a hazard to people in the ring. I'd say that Swagger's the same.
Yeah, but Swagger has had good matches. Like, Swagger puts on entertaining matches, which is something that guy, David Otunga, never had a single one of.
Yeah, but good matches are great when you're not injuring the roster.
It's true.
Okay, so we'll move on from there. We spoke about Rowley and we talked about like guys from NXT. Two guys from NXT who are going to be in like a decent mid card match. I'm not going to lie. It's got potential to be good. Is Rusev and Big E. We've seen it before, but I thought their last match was actually quite interesting.
I liked it, but it was very, very short, and
Yeah.
that hurt it kind of. It was a very hard hitting, entertaining hoss fight, but it was like 3 minutes long.
Like,
See,
Rusev comes from Bulgaria, or coming from Russia now. Russia's a fairly well done up country. They're good with the martial arts. So why the fuck have we not seen more than 10 moves from Rusev?
Well, he had pretty good matches in NXT against Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler, especially Dolph Ziggler.
yeah, we're talking about the guy who sells every move.
Well, yeah, but he had a bigger moveset when he was wrestling Ziggler in NXT than I've seen him use on Raw.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the problem that we've discussed in the past, where movesets are getting cut down. I mean, the Divas movesets get cut down. It feels like Rusev's moveset got cut down. Big E's moveset got cut down. I think.
Well, everybody has to have core moves on the main roster. It's how you make a dude a star, is to have like 3 or 4 big moves.
Core moves, but not 5 moves of doom. Come on.
Because Daniel Bryan has like 3 or 4 cool moves that like he does every match and like builds to his finish. But yeah, you gotta try not to overly rely on those, or else you just look like you have no moves.
And another NXT guy, because something we've discussed before is obviously, if Barrett's out, who replaces Barrett in the thing, and we've discussed NXT guys, and I've discussed Sami Zayn. Again, Sami Zayn is one of those guys that has a great moveset in NXT, and I actually worry he's going to get his cut down the way that Rusev has.
I don't know. Daniel Bryan got to keep how he worked. Like he emphasizes the kicks and strikes more than he used to, but he still more or less has his moveset. I feel like that's how Sami Zayn's gonna work.
Hopefully. I mean, another thing that you mentioned moves of doom. Do you think Sami Zayn has moves of doom?
Well, I think everyone has moves of doom.
That's the way matches work in WWE. Everybody has moves of doom.
Well, even on the indies, right?
Most indies too. That's true.
Yeah, they'll go out and they'll have like a good match, and then the guy who's gonna win it, will come out with maybe 5. Well, let's not say 5. Let's say 3 signature moves. He'll hit 2 signatures, a finisher, and hit the pin. That's the way wrestling goes. It's good storytelling. Although the match ends.
Actually, I've just realised.
Sorry, anyway.
I've just realised Zayn's move of doom.
Yeah.
When he runs and high boots the modder in the corner.
Haluva kick.
Yeah, that one. But the other move that I think should be a move of doom that isn't is his double pump handle powerbomb.
Yeah, I like virtually every move in Sami Zayn's moveset. I especially love the double jump, tornado, like springboard DDT thing he does. I don't know what it's called.
Have you guys seen the double pump handle powerbomb?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him every match he's had, pretty much.
Every match? I've only seen him do it.
No, I said I've seen about every match, so I've seen the times he's done it.
Fair play. I was going to say NXT has only done it once, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I think once or twice. I don't know. He doesn't do it often.
But again, Zayn is a guy I'd love to see up Money in the Bank tonight. I don't think it will happen, but if somebody has to replace Barrett, I'd want it to be him.
No, if you put Zayn in there to replace Barrett, he's going to look better than Barrett, and that is the last thing WWE needs.
Dude, like, Sami Zayn can't just be crammed in like that. Like, I don't know what they'll do with him, but that's like a super weird way to introduce a guy.
Yeah, to be fair, we're also at a shifting point thinking about it, where a lot of the younger people that have come up from NXT, I'm not necessarily going to say Rusev and Big E at the moment, but Reigns, Ambrose, Rollins, people in NXT still like Sami Zayn are more entertaining to me to watch than Cena, and the people that have been on the card for a while.
One question: what in the hell is Big E doing with that like preacher voice thing?
Right.
I don't understand. What does that have to do with his gimmick?
Rensis is just shaking his head with a mouthful of food. and probably a tea at his side. Fake tea, not British tea. Shake your head in shame.
Yeah, fake tea. It's-
No, I agree. It's a weird voice, but WWE has probably told him, get creative, show us something. The fact is, he should be showing his own side of personality, not what they force him to do.
No, to me, if they want to show Big E to show personality, they should make him tell more jokes. Because if you've seen his Twitter feed, you know the guy is a funny guy.
Okay, but to be fair, being funny through text is an entirely different thing than being funny on like live TV.
Are you telling me when he was pretending to be Caitlyn's secret, whatever the hell that was, that wasn't hilarious as hell?
That was such a weird sub storyline. I don't
That
even know
was
what
so-
that was.
That was so funny.
Oh, okay, we talking weird sub-storylines, huh? Mark Henry and Mae Young. Move on.
Oh,
Yep.
dude, no, that's the greatest WWE storyline of all time.
They do this
All
to their,
time.
they do this to their muscly guys, right? They'll put them in a comedy role or a role where they can go off and be a hilarious bad guy, and then the other option is they can, put them as the powerful face like they started off doing with Ryback. Now, unfortunately, there is only one way they can go from this, and I call it the Mark Henry syndrome.
But Mark Henry survived it, which is weird because he's the only guy who has.
Exactly.
Yeah, even Big Show hasn't survived it.
Yeah,
No,
Mark
no.
Henry. Big Show more or less did. He's done it like 8 times, which is
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, but it's cost him massively in terms of believability.
But it's so Mark Henry did it for like 2 years and then became like the silverback world's strongest man, squashing Kurt Angle. Like, if he somehow came back from like 2 years of that.
That's actually an interesting point. Do you think we're going to see Henry tonight at all?
No, I think we'll see him before SummerSlam, but I don't think tonight.
Yeah, Mark Henry's in this weird position since like 2 or 3 years ago, where he just kind of fades away for a bit, and then he shows back up, World's Strongest Slam with somebody, and then it's back on. Hall of Pain time.
I remember when I actually started watching, because for those of you who don't know, I actually started watching in 2012, and I kind of backlogged footage. But when I was initially starting watching, he wasn't around, and he just came in randomly and slammed someone, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, do you know what? Rentus makes a good point. Anyone can be revived with enough time off TV.
Yeah, that's
Guys,
true.
like Mark Henry just now, his last run, he went off and he lost. I think it was almost 50 pounds. Right? He lost that weight. He came back and he was interesting again. Admittedly, they didn't do much with him, but he's still fun to watch in the ring. That whole retirement angle with Cena was perfect. I believed it.
Oh, the man believed.
Me too.
I was almost moved by that.
I am legitimately sad that Mark Henry did not pull out the win at that pay-per-view and got his, like, 2 or 3 month only real WWE title reign.
I am legitimately sad that he didn't win an actual award for that.
No,
Yeah,
no.
that was-
His thing was a million times better than Shawn Michaels' thing, because I saw Shawn Michaels' thing coming from 6 miles away.
I will say that Mark Henry, like I said, has taken time off. We're talking about the Big Show reinventing himself. He's off filming Vendetta just now for WWE Studios. I'm not saying it's going to be a great film. In fact, I don't even think it's going to be a B+ film. But
Or a C- film.
yeah, we'll say a C- just to be safe, right? Big Show can come back and they can put him in the same role as they always do, where he can be the badass, I'm a tall motherfucker. Go give me someone to kick someone's ass. I'll come out to my slow, stompy music, because that's what I do. Or they can bring him back as the, hi, I'm a face. Let me shake hands with you. I support your troops. Right? They can do that. Or they can let him reinvent himself, and he can do his own thing.
I
Which
like
I really believe Big Show's capable of if you watch his old WCW stuff.
I would really love Big Show to come back and be a heel in some capacity, because the only issue I ever have with Big Show is his WMD, where most of the time it looks like he's just tapped somebody.
Well, that's the thing that's the problem with having like a strike as basic as that is as your finisher, because it feels like he could have hit it at any time, like at any time. So there's no build up, like there's no real way to dodge because it's just a punch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I say give the man a choke his choke slam as a finisher or a power bomb or something.
Well, it's
yeah,
like the
he
bro
did.
kick or whatever's fine because it's like a big kick, so you gotta take a few steps back, step into it, and they can dodge. But it's just a punch. It's very hard to dodge every punch a guy throws.
Could you
The
imagine a 7-foot power bomb?
Yeah,
Who?
a 7 foot power bomb, or like you said, give him the showstopper back. That choke slam to me was one of my favorites, where he did the little bit of a run and he would turn them at the last second. It looked great, and see when he put Taker through the mat, I remember thinking this is the most devastating move I've ever seen.
Remember that like 10 months where Kane used a drop to both knees power bomb as a finisher?
Yes,
That
That
sounds
that move was rough. That move was real rough, and I was kind of sad when it went away.
that sounds deadly, but in the same way, you have to think about the safety of the wrestlers. I mean, it's why the Pepsi plunge from Punk never made it through. It's why a lot of moves from Cesaro never made
Okay,
it through.
Pepsi Plunge never made it through because A, it's a pedigree, and two, that is not a good move.
Yeah, but
It
okay,
takes like 80 hours of setup.
better example, Sami Zayn's Brainbuster.
Oh yeah, that is a much better example.
So, that's a move that you do and you think, yeah, you're going to kill that guy.
Yeah, definitely.
And with Kane's thing that good, I imagine the speed you'd pick up coming down from that if you did it wrong.
Yeah, because it wasn't most guys Kane's size do a jackknife where you only pick them up most of the way and then just release. But Kane did a full throws his entire body down with you power
Yeah,
bomb.
when you're slamming someone down with that much force, that's gotta hurt.
I mean, do you guys remember Big Show for a while? He did a move called the Final Cut. He would hold the opponent, one arm to the side, and he would press one leg up against their chest and basically do a leg drop from a standing position with them.
He did that for like a good couple years. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
that was a. Honest to God, when he was heavier, I would have believed that. But
He
I
also
think,
used to do that alley oop, like 12 years ago. He did the alley oop, which is like a
yeah,
reverse
top
power
head.
bomb.
Yeah. But I think, like you said, the issue with this new finisher is the fact that it can be hit from anywhere, anytime, and it's not. There's a build up to it where he does the with his fist, and no one gives a shit, right?
Yeah, because it's not like I see why they like it, like why they did it, because any time, anywhere move is cool, but it has to look like it takes more effort than just striking a dude with a punch. Because like
Right.
I don't think I could do a Sheamus bro kick well, but I could definitely do a WMD.
The problem with the WMD isn't so much that it's only a punch, it's the fact that Big Show is actually that big of a guy and he's actually that strong. If he actually punched somebody, he would probably
Well-
dislocate their jaw, which is
Well,
why.
that's true too, which is why the hard punch is a terrible, stupid move because you can't actually do it, so it just looks awful.
Yeah, but what I mean is, Big Show's having to hold back that punch, and he's having to not put power into it, so it looks like crap.
Right, let's get back to it then. Rusev or Big E, who's winning this match?
Rusev.
John?
I like Big E fine, and he'll probably do a better job. He'll probably have a longer match than he had last time, but he is not going to be the guy that ends the streak of this the undefeated streak.
If they want to build Rusev, they've got to have Rusev win.
John, who do you see winning?
Probably Rusev.
Right, good call. Let's talk very quickly about this match. I don't see the point in talking a long time over Summer Rae versus Layla.
Don't care.
I'm gonna say next.
Sable
I-
Bomb?
I-
I don't know.
I don't care. I think either way, Fandango needs to leave with neither of them.
I hate that feud so much. Like, it is the least interesting thing going on in WWE right now.
Yeah,
They
that is.
keep dedicating time to it.
It really puts things in a bad light.
Yeah, to me, the issue, I was saying to Chris earlier, the issue with this is that Layla today tweeted she wants a dance-off with Summer Rae. This is not a good thing, right? If they want to make this interesting, you have them fight, you have maybe 2 or 3 minutes, I mean literally 2 or 3 minutes of fighting, you have Summer Rae dominate, maybe let Layla get a bit of a comeback, and then you have Fandango walk out and just say that neither of them are worth it.
If you want to make it interesting, make it a street fight.
No divas. In front of
Last
people.
man standing match. No.
They've gotta do it
60-minute Iron Man. 60-minute Iron Man.
Extreme rules.
I'd
Yeah.
say you let them do it in a ballroom like they used to. You give them a halftime. You take them to a ballroom and you let them knock shit out of each other with dance chairs.
Yep. There's gotta be tons of blading. Tons of blading in it.
You know,
They're gonna take a 12-hour seminar with Flair first before the
Yeah,
match.
but she's got Summerie's got the blonde hair to get the blood in and it'll look great, like Ric Flair did it.
do you know what
I'm pretty sure, Chris, you've got some razors hidden away in that like grease-style leather jacket of yours, yeah?
Oh, of course, man. You know what I actually think? You know what I actually think would be fantastic, and I'm not even taking the piss here. Is if they get 30 seconds into this match or something, and you just see Fandango's music hits, he walks out with Eva Marie.
God, do you know how bad that would be? It would be so funny, but it would be so awful.
He should just Falcon Arrow both of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He should just walk out on both, and then he can
No, that's not decisive enough. He has to Falcon Arrow both of them, line them up next to each other, and then do the top rope leg drop to both of them simultaneously.
You would hear such a big cheer if that ever happened. The pop
People would lose their minds, because people hate this. So that's the only way people will leave happy about this feud.
The only good thing that came out of this whole thing was seeing Summer Rae and Layla covered in milk.
Or when Layla, I think, called her a twat or whatever.
Yeah, she's a blonde twat. Right, that's not the way it goes. Who cares? These guys are awful. Fandango needs to be doing something else.
Fandango's kinda awful, which doesn't help.
Get them out of there and get them sorted.
Okay, next match. Paige versus Naomi.
Oh god, right. Paige loses, but it's due to DQ.
Yep.
Yeah, it's how it's gonna go. Though I do think Paige and Naomi will be fun, because their match against each other in main event was fun. So it'll probably be decent up until the DQ finish.
Okay, basically, I'm going to read you guys what I've had written down here. Naomi wins by DQ due to Cameron attacking Paige. I'd love to think that WWE could be more creative and let Naomi get the win, then have Cameron attack her due to jealousy. Personally, I think that would be a much better idea. I mean, the fact is, we all know it's going to go through, and realistically, Paige could probably win this with a PTO, and nothing will happen until after the match. But
How about Charlie Haas in a wig and makeup
That's the
returns?
shit we need. That is the shit we need.
Now, I
I
honestly,
remember that story, I guess? Was it a storyline? I don't know. I just remember Charlie Haas coming out in
So
lipstick.
he can come in as one of the Funka Hostels.
Funka Hostel. Sean Benjamin's still with him.
That'd be amazing.
They replaced the Funkadactyls with the world's greatest tag team in drag.
on a serious note, though, I think that Naomi will. I don't think that Cameron will attack Paige. I think Cameron will attack Naomi.
Ooh,
I don't even know. You know what I hope happens? Cameron tries to get in the ring, and then Paige and Naomi destroy her together, and then finish their match.
That would be funny, actually.
That'd be ideal, actually, considering they did that handshake thing.
Or they inconspicuously place a glass window pane next to the ring, and then Naomi super kicks her through it.
You're just set on that happening when they split these up, aren't you?
It just came to mind. I don't know.
It's like any tag team ever breaks up, it's like nobody gets kicked.
Somebody
Yeah,
has to
okay,
get
so
super
we're all
kicked through a
decided.
glass window pane. It's the only way you know they're broken up for real. In my mind, Daniel Bryan and Kane are still together. No one went through glass.
Yeah, these comments really sort of show what we think of all this, all the Divas matches.
To be fair, my interest, I am interested in the Paige Naomi match.
I want to see it. It's probably going to be good.
I reckon it'll actually be better than people think.
Their match on main event was really good, so it'll probably be better than that. So it's probably going to be really, really good. It's just, I know it's not going to end clean, which just makes me sad.
What someone mentioned then about Daniel Bryan. What would you love? Would you love to see Layla Summer Rae end with Daniel Bryan coming out and just chanting no?
I
The entire crowd just
thought
no?
you were going to say that Daniel Bryan comes out and Buzukai knees Cameron through a window. Which I would be 100% okay with.
I'd love him just like, they're having a dance off or something, you just see Daniel Bryan walk out and just go, no, 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 and the entire crowd.
I mean, I know they don't do it anymore because I guess it's against the PG thing, but physicality between the women wrestlers and male wrestlers is always an interesting thing. Like when Lita would like hurricane Rana a dude off a ladder or something.
Oh yeah, one thing I have wanted to see for a while is Heat by attacking a girl.
Or, what was it? Chris Jericho and Christian against Lita and Trish that happened, like, at WrestleMania or something, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
A guy versus girl match is a amazing Heat.
It's an interesting thing. Like, I don't think it should happen often, but it's an interesting thing when it does happen.
Girls, I mean, one of the first things I remember, actually, one of the first pay-per-views I ever saw was Survivor Series 1999, and it was Jericho versus Chyna, and Jericho reportedly said if he loses the match, he'll get a sex change. I mean, to me, that kind of stuff is good when it's got a little bit of an edge to it.
Didn't Chyna pin Jarrett for the IC title?
Yeah,
at
she
one
did.
point? Also, dang it, what was I going to say? I can't think of it. Oh, Mickey James, if you don't remember, beat Santino clean with one hand tied behind her back.
Yeah.
Knocked him the hell out with a kick in like 90 seconds and pinned him.
I wasn't around for that, but okay.
Okay,
I was amazed that match worked out the way it did, and I was pretty happy about
Okay.
it.
We're coming up later now, because we're heading up towards the pre-show, so...
right, let's
What
make
is the pre-show?
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan.
Oh,
talk.
just Daniel Bryan?
Yeah, Stardust, Goldust versus Ryback. Who's winning?
I don't think we really have to debate that one, do we?
Yeah, while I love Ryback deep in the cockles of my heart, I gotta think that they wouldn't kill Stardust and Goldust's momentum this quickly.
I don't think it'd be easy to introduce Stardust and 2 weeks later have him job. Don't see that happening.
This is a weird pay-per-view, because this is a pay-per-view where every match is either like, we know exactly what's going to happen,
Or we just don't
or we have no idea. Like, no idea. Like the main event and like the two ladder matches.
Well, the main event, I think, is predictable, because one of two things will happen. Cena's going to...
Well, he might, but it's hard to actually determine, because there's actually like, good reasons for virtually everyone in the match. And in the second ladder match, like the contract one, there's good reasons for 4 out of 7 dudes.
Right, okay, so we're all fairly set then that Stardust and Goldust win.
Yeah.
Let's hit the big match then. Who's winning the title match tonight?
Who do we want to win, or who's going to win?
Okay, let's make this 2 questions then. We'll run through everyone quickly, and then we'll ask why. John, who do you want to win, and who do you think will win?
Who I want to win? I wouldn't mind Roman Reigns, but
Okay, and who do you think will win?
Cena.
Right. Chris, same questions.
Unfortunately, I think Cena is going to win. I would love Reigns to win, but because of something Steve Austin pointed out earlier, where he basically said, Roman Reigns, the crowd is behind him, he's missing a bit of late game, but he is very quickly able to be a star. I think they'd be surprised at what.
Okay. Skeletor, your go.
Okay, okay, this is a weird match because I want Kane to win because Kane's my boy, and I will never not want Kane to win in anything. But and I actually think he has a better chance than most people give him credit for, because he could very well win, and then him and Bryan actually have their rematch, and then Bryan takes it off. I would not be in any way surprised if that happened.
Right, okay, so you want Kane to win, but who do you see winning?
I probably see John Cena, but I don't think it's impossible for Kane to pull it out. Weirdly enough.
Cool. Right, Rensis is saying Cena is a decoy, Bray takes it all, baby.
No, no way. I like Bray, but no way.
Bray is bigger than the title.
Yeah, I have two things on this, right? The Wyatts, as a family, would look phenomenal sitting around that rocking chair draped in gold and bronze, admittedly. But those guys would look good with belts, but they don't need them, right? Bray does not need a title, and I think personally it's too soon if the rumor is true about Lesnar. If it's Lesnar, Wyatt's not getting that belt. Sadly, sorry, Rantis. I'd love them to, but it's not happening. Kane, however, I could see happening.
Yeah. If
Right.
there's like what's coming afterwards, then I wouldn't mind Kane winning and seeing that with the other brother.
It's just a way for him to be. It would be a way so Kane gets his one WWE title, like real WWE title reign in his career.
But the problem is,
And he
Lesnar.
can just be a transitional champ and give it off to Bryan or somebody.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. With him going into SummerSlam and Lesnar, I don't think that whoever wins this is going to stay champion. So, giving it to Reigns, unless they're going to do Lesnar Reigns, is a waste of time. Giving it to Cena.
Okay,
It's an utter waste of time to give it to Reigns because he hasn't. There's no build. Like, there's very little build for him. And if he's going to lose it quickly, then, like, it's just a waste of his first title reign.
If they're going to give it to Reigns, they need to have him get screwed either by Rollins cashing in.
Right, okay.
Because even though Bryan got.
Right, let me put it to you this way, Chris. You're saying whoever wins the Money in the Bank contract could realistically win the title. Yeah, that is the fact.
Yeah.
However, if the Lesnar thing is true, who do you see out of that contract match facing Lesnar realistically?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Reigns would win it. It would go to Rollins. Rollins would lose it to Cena, and Cena would fight Lesnar.
Why would they have Rollins lose it to Cena in a month?
Yeah, he would have to lose it inside of a month, which is kind of weird.
Because one, it would set up the whole Reigns versus Triple H angle. And second off, make Rollins look great at the time. And you could really amp up his character by him getting pissed off about it.
Okay.
I don't. That's the only. Money in the Bank could have the title. I only see that happen.
I'm gonna quickly pour one out for Rensis, who's now dead.
Okay, go for it. I think, honestly, right, Skeletor said the idea of Kane here. I think it's quite believable. They put Kane in there for a reason. He can't just be a random pawn. There is no point in that. If Kane goes in, and he is there to stop Reigns from winning, as Triple H wanted, that's great. But what if Kane goes in and stops Orton winning as well, and wins it himself?
I think that would be a great way to return interest into Kane, is to have him turn on the Authority and maybe, team up with Daniel again, kinda. Like, not as a tag team, but just as people against the Authority.
Yeah.
But the question then is what happens with Lesnar? Because Lesnar is a guy that's going to come in.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happens with
I'm saying what
Lesnar.
happens with Lesnar is we either get Lesnar clean so that he can beat Kane and say he beat both brothers like John suggested, or they're going to go the sensible route, which I've been saying for the last week and tried to explain to people, is you get Cena Lesnar because it's a money match.
It is a super
I was
money
going to
match.
say, while I don't like the idea of Cena winning the title, I can understand that. Kane versus Lesnar is not a match I would look forward to. For the same reason, Taker Lesnar, I would be cringe-worthy of whether or not Kane gets hurt.
Okay, I'm saying this now. If Daniel Bryan on the pre-show says that he'll be back for SummerSlam, Kane gets almost a 50% boost chance of winning this match.
Yeah.
Would you imagine Bryan versus...
Bryan in a last man standing or in a buried alive match, and then you'll get Cena versus Lesnar anyway.
No, I would love it to go into Bryan versus Lesnar.
No, because then Brian has to lose.
Yeah, we could just have a Cena Lesnar like #1 contenders match or whatever. That's
I think Cena Lesnar, if and when it happens, their next match needs to either be in a cage or in a Hell in a Cell.
yeah. It doesn't need to be a title match, so they can just
I-
Brock can beat Cena and then try to take out Bryan, who's champ, and then that'll be like the only odds bigger than taking on Orton and Batista at the same time after beating Triple H is having to take on the guy who broke the streak. Those are the only odds that are worse.
While for health and safety reasons I know this will not happen, I would personally love to see an F5 through a Hell in a Cell.
Oh, yes. Hell
I would
yes.
personally love to see that, and I would sit there like, holy shit, they've done it. But I know for health and safety reasons that ain't going to happen.
I'm happy with an F5 on the top of the Hell in a Cell.
I want to see like just an F5 through a table.
Could you imagine it?
An actual table, not the commentator's table.
No, what I mean is he sets out a table, picks a dude up on his shoulders, and then flings him off of his shoulders through the table. Is what I want to see. I do that in the video games all the time.
Francis, you have to move your cameraman because you look like you're wearing some kind of weird fan hat.
He looks like he's in front of like a still image background.
Oh,
I don't know why. It's weird.
That's not real, man. Rensis is just yet another part of the Matrix. That's it.
He's got like a green screen of a fan and a white wall. Like what?
Like, what have I told you that Rensis wasn't real?
I would not be surprised.
No.
I mean, Rory's gone and done, the typical Rock thing. He's not even came in via satellite tonight.
Since it's impossible for Rensis to be 8'7", I assume that he is a fake.
What if Rensis actually is 8'7", and the reason the fan is above him is because he's bent over double?
Oh, yeah, he's been. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Yeah, see, that's
Camera
it.
angle, optical illusion.
I mean, look at that chin. He knows he's happy about that explanation.
Oh, this is interesting. The pre-show is actually available on YouTube as well as the network for once.
I'm pretty sure it's only available in America.
Nope, I've got a stream up now
Oh, awesome.
on YouTube.
I may
Yeah.
have to check it out now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always start the pay-per-view at 8 so I can skip through stuff that I don't want to see from the pre-show. And just watch the match or whatever. Or I guess Daniel Bryan talking, whatever the hell it is this time.
Right,
Listen.
I have no problem with my Twitter followers, and I love them. But realistically, some of this shit that I'm reading just now, like, I quote, would quite like Swagger to win the Money in the Bank. Can always do more with Zeb and Swagger. Is underrated in the ring. Four
He just-
people
I like Swagger in the ring, but no!
Four people have favorited that, and one person has said, that's exactly right, you read my mind.
So
Maybe it's trolling. Maybe it's just trolling.
Yeah,
I
it's
hope to God.
There's no way that's not just trolling.
Oh, we can see Jericho on Twitter.
Oh, yes, right, let's talk about this. I'm glad you pointed this out, John. Jericho asked on Twitter, hey Jericho, heard you were backing out and coming up safe for Barrett if he's not in the Money in the Bank match. Jericho just replied, yes.
he's trolling.
Of course.
He would
He's
never tell you that. He would if he was, he would never say it. And B, why in the hell would they have Chris Jericho just waiting in case someone got injured?
Jericho is like Punk. He is a giant troll. Do not
He is a
believe the
troll.
troll.
Could you imagine, though, they actually do bring him back, and he has trolled everyone again?
A double troll because he can
Troll within a troll. Trollception.
trollception. Yes.
Trollception, Jesus, that's bad.
But he needs to just prevent RVD from winning. That's all he needs to do.
He needs to prevent RVD from winning. I'm sure Weed and Sore Knees will do that for him anyway.
I love the image of Rob Van Dam at the top of the ladder, and you see him smell the air, and he turns around, and Jericho's just holding out like a blunt. And RVD hops off the ladder to take it out of his hands, and then
No.
Codebreaker.
I got actually quite impressed by RVD. See when him and Seth were going back and forth on the mic, RVD made me laugh, and the crowd got behind him.
He did a decent.
I love that one line where it was like, this is back in 2002, and it was like, yeah, because you were up asking your mum to see me, and I was like, oh, shit.
Well, turn Guitar Pro off.
He turned legitimately almost murdering Triple H into a joke, and it was pretty great.
Like, I honestly hope they'll let RVD have more mic time, if that's the kind of promo he's going to cut, because some of that was funny as hell.
Problem is he does that like once a year.
Good point. Same with Goldust, though. Goldust is very similar.
I just want Rybaxel mic time. Just all Rybaxel all the time. Nobody else gets to hold a live mic.
Because Ryback can cut a great promo.
Ryback actually can do a fine job, and
Cool.
Axel's super awkward and weird. It's super entertaining.
Don't feed the trolls.
All you're gonna be is dust in the wind. God, that is what Curtis Axel said on Main Event, and it was the best.
No, I really like that they're playing these stories over into Main Event now. Like, Main Event used to be just like midweek matches, but now it actually kind of means something.
Yeah, they've been putting on segments for mid-card storylines.
I'd just like to point out a report from last night's live, the 28th. Yeah, 2 days ago, the live event. Roman Reigns was the biggest pop. Seth Rollins was the most heat.
Sounds about right.
It does sound about right, but I still not gonna put a. If I was WWE, which I'm not actually part of creative,
You should be.
but if there'd be so many broken glass panes. Like, they would lose so much money in glass panes. But if I was doing it, I could not possibly give the title to somebody who can't carry a singles match.
But this is the thing, they've not let Reigns try carrying a singles match.
Have you seen, he has singles matches. He took on Orton, and it was pretty not good. And he took on Kane.
It was pretty not good.
Well, man, just tell it like it is.
Yeah, and then he had one with Kane, which was pretty bad in places. And then he had one against Mark Henry, which was terrible. He has yet. The only decent singles match he's had was against Daniel
Mark
Bryan.
Henry is carrying you in a match, that's bad.
Yeah, Mark Henry carried him. That's so weird. Because Mark Henry had to do 90% of the offense until Roman Reigns did a crazy Samoan drop on a 400-pound man, and then Superman punched Spear.
Yeah, but Reigns gets the crowd behind him, and that's the important point.
It's important, but there's a reason they never put the title on. There's a reason they never put the title on Lex Luger. Right. The crowd was behind Lex Luger. Lex Luger was awful.
Right, I'm going to throw this one out then. You look back at The Rock's career, right? And I'm going to compare him because obviously they're related, right? You look back at The Rock's career and you see Rocky Maivia coming out, right? And he had, the standard dress on, which was awful in the first place. And he had the bad curls on top.
Yeah.
And he couldn't wrestle for shit when he started. He was bad in the ring.
As good as Roman.
You think?
But they weren't giving him WWE title matches. He was in that mid-card.
I wouldn't say right away to begin with he was twice as good. I would say he was good, but I wouldn't say he's twice as good.
Yeah, but we're talking about the middle. Are we talking about the middle of their runs, or are they talking about the beginning? Because the beginning of Rocky versus the beginning of Roman, Rock was twice as good.
No, I don't mean Rocky becoming The Rock. I mean Rocky on review.
Yeah, Rocky Maivia versus
Triple H was pretty decent.
Versus Roman Reigns at the very beginning of their work. Rocky was much better. And if you look 2 years in where Roman is versus 2 years of The Rock,
yeah,
he was twice as good.
Yeah, Rock was real WWE Championship contender, having great singles matches against Triple H, and Roman has to be protected in 6-man or 10-man tag matches where he only gets to wrestle a minute. Or if they ever give him more than a minute, he's bad. Like, real bad.
I think, obviously, like you're saying, he was better. But Roman Reigns is what they need now, and it's not in a good way. Like, they need him because they haven't built anyone else up.
But they have Daniel Bryan sitting over there. He'll come back in like a month or two.
Yeah,
and you
come
can't
back.
have Daniel Bryan and Roman. Because Daniel Bryan, it'll kill them both. You're splitting their fan bases.
You can't have Daniel Bryan and Roman, but what I'm saying is, like, WWE
The
is
kickoff show is on now.
What the hell is going on? Chris,
I know, but the kickoff show is coming on.
Francis just has like the grainiest, most pixelated still image of himself possible.
That's not him. Don't be silly. That's not him at all.
It appears that it's going to be Renee Young replacing
Josh Matthews, yeah.
WWE's Jeremy Borash.
That was already confirmed, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's sad that Josh Matthews had to go. He took some incredible bumps backstage.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, because backstage interviewers almost never last long, but Josh has been hanging on for like 12 years.
Because he sucks cold cock.
Okay, no, but to be fair to Josh Matthews, he was fairly decent at his job, because unlike Renee, while he looked like he was paying attention and reacted like a human, but unlike Renee, he was never looked like he was trying to get himself over. He always kind of faded in the background, which was kind of his job, and he took bumps all the time, which was funny.
Renee is obviously a mark for herself.
Oh, she very much is visibly trying to get herself over, which is something Josh Matthews never, ever looked like he was trying to do.
You guys ever watch Inbox on YouTube?
I don't watch any of the YouTube shows.
Right, okay. They have Renee Young basically every week on Inbox answering all these fan questions. And my god, she comes across as the most arrogant bitch going. Like, I'm okay with people supporting themselves. You have to do that in this industry, I understand. But there's a point where you support yourself, and there's a point where you're supporting yourself and everyone else looks bad because of it.
Yeah, Lillian's that way too.
See, I actually prefer. Has anyone watched Total Divas show thing that they did?
No, because I have a set of balls.
Yeah, I saw one episode of it because I wanted to see what it was like, and it was the worst, so I never went back.
Alicia Fox is actually incredibly good at like what Renee Young and Josh Matthews does. Alicia's very good at it.
Alicia's very good at a lot of things. Unfortunately,
The company disagrees.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, lately at least, they've been showing her and, like giving her segments and wanting her, like, wrestle full matches and stuff that are, like, longer than the normal Divas matches.
Oh,
So they seem to be getting fairly behind her. They actually gave her a gimmick.
I was going to say, I'd love them to evolve her character.
Yeah, I kind of want to see where they're going with this whole situation now that she's gone crazy. Like, why did she go crazy?
And she turned on Oksana, who then got released, like, a day later or whatever.
What did Oksana do? Did she cry and go home? Are they going to explain that, or...?
The last thing Oksana ever did was get popcorn shoved in her mouth by her former partner while she cried, and then got her ass beat by her in a singles match the next day.
I would let Alicia Fox do that to me while I was crying on my hands and knees, and I'd be okay with it.
Well,
yes.
Let's be honest. When you really think,
I don't know why I'm thinking about
that wasn't predictable at all.
No, but he is stating the truth. So I'll let that go.
Welcome to PG era.
I'll pass.
To be honest, though,
we gotta make these hangouts PG now.
That was
yeah, we should.
Yeah.
You don't find while Rentis is laughing because he's not the one on his hands and knees, it's the other way around.
Yeah, these hangouts will make us shit tons of money if they're PG.
See that logic.
Remember,
A PG show is a much broader audience show.
It is. And you know what? I actually think it gets a lot of knocks that it doesn't deserve. I quite
No,
enjoy the product.
I don't have a problem with
See-
Raw being PG. I just mock it sometimes. Like it's not actually a problem.
Dark Souls as a game has proven that sometimes aiming at a niche market is better than aiming for a broad market.
What?
No, I think
Why did you bring up Dark Souls?
I'm just using it as it's a perfect example here. You aim for a niche market, you draw in the niche market, more of it. I mean, let's look at this as you look at WWE as a PG show. Sure, it brings in kids, but as a result, you miss out on a lot of teenagers and adults.
Yeah, the ratings
You do?
aren't significantly.
No, you don't.
no,
Yeah, but
I think more.
The
adult-
ratings are basically the same as they used to be, but
It's just that the audience, the universe has gotten bigger.
Yeah.
yeah.
completely.
And now we have like the network and stuff, which will probably has somewhere around 1 million people now.
Still don't have any UK.
And let me tell you,
But-
every business on the planet would trade being a niche business for being a broad business if they could. You only do niche business because you're unable to do a broad business.
Yeah, it's like when ugly people say, only true love is on the inside and true beauty is on the inside. It's not, right? It's only
Exactly.
if you were attractive. Right? That's the fact. Like Francis just said, you're going to take a broad market every day of the week.
Well, yeah, there's always gonna be somebody who's into whatever you're selling.
Prediction: Del Rio's gonna win the.
Yeah, Del Rio enters the contract match, wins, and then wins the main match and cashes in on himself.
Can I say who wasn't that said Cena's gonna do that? So he becomes on himself and becomes 16 times.
Cash in on himself.
Yeah, that way he gets 2 reigns in the same day.
That sounds dirty.
You know what, it's really weird that you just said Del Rio would win because someone just tweeted that on my wall.
Del Rio, of course, is going to win. We picked other people who are distant second places to Del Rio.
I've been dirtied. I've been sullied now.
See, other fan nobody takes seriously that Del Rio could act. Just like nope.
The 2 people that aren't going to win, right, are Del Rio and Swagger. I would almost bet my left foot on that.
I'm not even sure why they're in it.
Swagger's in there because he'll
And
do.
Kofi.
They're an
is-
extra bond.
Is there anybody over the age of 15 that thinks that Kofi Kingston has any chance of winning this?
You shut your whore mouth.
Hey,
Mouth.
Kofi
not-
Kingston's
wait,
gonna
has
be
he-
an 18-time WWE champion. He's gonna break Flair's records.
Kofi's not gonna win, but I can guarantee you this: Kofi is sure as hell gonna have a good spot tonight.
Well, yeah, he's gonna have some ridiculous like stack ladders, run across them, do a front flip, take out
Yeah.
everybody's spot.
No. He'll do.
Dude, there's 50 guys in an indie promotion around the world that can do the same stuff.
No, it's true. Kofi sucks. I'm gonna say that right now. Kofi
But-
sucks, and I don't want him. But,
If anything's for certain, tonight I'm going to be entertained by Kofi.
I mean, if it was up to me, and if I was in charge of firing people, I would super kick Kofi through the window of the building and say, "You're fired."
you know, he'll land in a very cool way when he hits the ground.
You know, I think this is such a bad thing, right? Kofi, like you guys are saying, is not phenomenal, right? I will be the first to admit that. But I think, as an underdog, he is the only underdog that I've believed is a genuine underdog in the last 6 years. Like,
Daniel,
well,
I don't know. Daniel Bryan was a genuine underdog.
No, it wasn't. Everyone knew he was gonna win that.
Yeah, no, everyone knew he was going to win in the end. That's the
No,
way story
but
No, you
no,
didn't.
until
No, you
the
didn't.
Cena match.
No,
At
you
least-
don't. You didn't know. You didn't know until you saw it. You were hoping.
Yeah.
You did not
You were
know.
hoping, there's a reason people lost their minds when it happened. They didn't know, firstly. But especially up until the John Cena match, especially up until that match, Daniel Bryan was like the underdog. Until, you can argue when he pinned Cena, that went away, but I would argue that that was still there until he won at Mania.
I'd argue it was still there because he didn't win cleanly.
You know, if you say you didn't win cleanly again, I'm going to your house and I'm super kicking you through your glass window pane, which I delicately put behind your computer.
Although it wasn't Cena's fault, the fact that JBL kept bringing up, Cena's arms interfering. He didn't win cleanly.
We're all just going by Skeletor some windows for Christmas. Because at this rate, he's going to run out of them damn
Oh. Dude, they're showing some stuff from like previous ladder matches. I don't understand how Shelton Benjamin still lives and breathes air
No, he
that-
doesn't.
as a
He
live
died.
human.
It's why
The
he's
front,
gone.
the front flip ladder match from WrestleMania 22, where he almost landed on his head, like on the outside of the ring, was insane.
Speaking of that, I rewatched the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker.
And he
And-
dove onto his head.
Yep, that spot where Snuka's kid was supposed to catch him while dressed as a cameraman, and he totally didn't. He didn't step into him at all, and he went head first into the ground. It was just the craziest thing.
It makes me sick every time I watch it.
He left a huge dent of sweat just in the ground, and it was
That
amazing.
sounds like my pillow most days, man. That's not a big deal.
Also, that match is really the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Like, I watched it and I loved it when I saw it then,
Yeah,
and then I heard the hype later, and I hadn't rewatched it until yesterday night. But my goodness, that match is incredible.
It's incredible. I'd say the most iconic match was Hogan versus Andre Giant.
No, that's the most iconic, but just best in terms of ring work and storytelling is easily Shawn Michaels' Taker.
I think
No, I was going to say Shawn Michaels' ladder match was actually better than that.
What one? Oh, the Razor one?
Yeah, that was, for its time, that was phenomenal.
WrestleMania 10?
10,
Yeah.
For
There
its
we go.
time, that was a phenomenal match.
Yeah, oh, that match is very, very good. I still think Shawn Michaels' Undertaker is better. I think Shawn Michaels' Undertaker is better than just about anything.
for the sake of storytelling, the one that I would argue it with is Rock Austin from 17.
That's true. That's a good point.
The build to that match was insane. And I
'Cause-
remember the promo, My Way by Limp Bizkit, and I still get shivers when I watch it.
No,
Which one was the one where they had Shawn Michaels dressed up and he gave the speech of "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death"?
That was
27.
Yeah, that was 25.
That was a fantastic spot. That was.
So
That-
the best video package in my mind is the one behind Shawn Michaels versus Taker 2 from the next WrestleMania. It's a less good match. It's admittedly a less good match, but the video package beforehand with that placebo running up that hill
Oh,
song
it's
is
beautiful.
the most beautiful thing. Like, it's
for-
incredibly depressing.
For pre-Mania packages, I was actually incredibly surprised at how good Daniel Bryan's was. You know, with Monster by Imagine
Oh,
Dragons.
Monster was really good. I didn't expect that. Yeah.
Why does Alex Riley do that funky shoulder shimmy when he's talking?
Alex Riley's the worst.
He's the creepiest person I've ever seen on a WWE stage.
Let him talk for 12 seconds without bringing up his real friendship with The Miz.
I
Just
think
12
that's
seconds.
That's kind of his shtick, though, isn't
Barrett's
it?
just been confirmed to not be participating.
Are you having a giraffe?
Yeah, so they've got Alex Riley up here with Christian, Booker, and Renee Young. So I wonder what it's like for Booker to be out there with a bunch of second guys.
It's a stab in the heart. It's got to be.
Dude, okay, firstly, I love Booker, but Christian is fantastic. Dude's like one of the best in-ring workers of all time.
Can't touch Booker.
Booker is not, well, I love Booker, is not as good of an in-ring worker as Christian was. Or
Yeah,
is,
that's
I
only-
don't know.
I mean, that's only part of the package.
No, Booker T has a great... Dang it, see, the thing about Christian which makes me super sad was the prime of Christian's, like, in-ring ability and his, like, promos was when he was in TNA, where he was viewed by, like, a fourth as many people.
It's been officially confirmed by Renee Young. Yeah, Barrett's not in this.
Yeah, and no one's replacing him.
No one's replacing who?
Barrett.
But,
Barrett's out?
Yep.
yeah, there's a lot of talking whether they're going to replace him or not, so I'm not sure.
I don't see a point of him being in it to begin with.
Really?
And you know
I thought Barrett
what's
was
weird?
he was my favorite to win.
No chance. Zero chance. None.
Alright, guys.
You know what's weird about it? when they decided to change whatever they were doing and not have Cesaro win, but to have Barrett win the IC title, Barrett was over. That was it. They killed all the momentum that he had.
I don't know. He's actually brought like a lot of credibility back to the IC title.
Yeah,
Barrett
that's
can't bring credibility to the IC title. He can't. He is the picture of what's wrong with the IC title.
No, Cody Rhodes brought prestige to the IC title, and Barrett's
He
doing
did.
it right now. Because
He
Cody
did,
Rhodes
but
was awesome.
You know why Cody brought prestige to the title? Because he made it about the title. He made his IC title run about putting the IC title over.
That's true. He did. That's basically all he did that whole reign. That's true.
Very, very few people have done that.
Yeah. Actually, when you think about it, most of the greatest, like most of the guys you put as greatest IC champions, did try to put the title over significantly. With a few exceptions, like
Wow, they're now showing Vicky showing her behind.
I've just received a tweet that says Barrett still has a better chance of winning Money in the Bank than Kofi does.
true, 110% true.
That's quite sad.
If Barrett was, if Barrett had died from that swagger throwing him into the barricade, I would still think Barrett had a better chance. He's not dead. Relax.
That window.
Owen Hart has a better chance of winning this match than Kofi does.
Far.
There, you said too far. I made it too far. There you go.
Here comes the happy hippie.
The happy hippie.
Adam Rose.
I think this proves that
No,
Brian.
I think he's gonna have a match with
the one
Titus
that's
tonight.
relevant. I'm sorry, the one that's relevant.
Wait, what's the happy hippie that's relevant?
Daniel Bryan.
Oh yeah, he is a modern hippie. Adam Rose is a '60s hippie, which is kind of the worst.
But Daniel Bryan is a hipster.
Yeah.
Right, okay, let's just get this quickly then before we all sign off.
Yeah.
One last time then. Who wins the contract match now that Barrett's out of it?
Ambrose.
Seth. I think it has to be. I think if Ambrose wins, it makes Seth look super dumb.
Let's work backward. If we're all assuming that we're going to get Lesnar for SummerSlam and Lesnar's going for the title at SummerSlam, that means the WWE champion has to be a face. That means that the person that wins the Money in the Bank contract is going to have to be a heel.
No, it doesn't.
No,
if
but
there's
Brock
no
Lesnar
wins
win
the
that
title,
match. Lesnar is going to win whatever match he has.
Okay, so what you're going to do is a heel versus a heel match at SummerSlam?
No, what I'm saying is if they did the contract, say it's a face that does win it, they can cash in on another face. So I mean that wouldn't be a big thing.
what if we cash in on Lesnar after he wins?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for WWE if you have a heel cash in on a face or you have a face cash in on a heel. That's just the way they typically do it.
I say we advertise Legends House and have Hacksaw Jim Duggan win, and then become World Heavyweight Champion tonight.
And it's never happened, so I'm going to go ahead and bet against it.
No. Oh, I put several $1 million on the line at the. I think I might be screwed.
Yeah, you might be. Just a little bit.
You want that in window installments, or are you quite happy to pay that up front?
Yeah. I think I might have
Cole,
to change my name to Rory and leave.
Michael Cole makes Daniel Bryan look small.
Yeah.
Michael's like a normal sized dude.
I was
Oh.
oh,
Did you just hear that?
no, what is it?
Daniel Bryan's on the pre-show, and Cole says something to him, and all you hear is Bryan goes, "Well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news." Just after they've announced Barrett's not going to be in it, and all you hear is the crowd boos him.
You know, if they really want to reignite Daniel Bryan's momentum and give him all the babyface reaction possible, have him running knee Michael Cole to death.
I think he'd get a bigger pop if he running Cameron.
That's true. If you running need Cameron to prevent her from interfering in the match
Running needs her through a glass pane.
through a glass pane.
No. Naomi has to put her through the glass pane.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because they won't be officially broken up if she doesn't super kick her through a glass window pane.
But I don't think Daniel Bryan needs to do anything to reignite anything. He's the best there is today. I mean,
I love the dude.
All he has to do is come out there and do what he does, and he'll be over.
He's like if Bret Hart wasn't boring on the mic.
That's kind of a big if.
For anyone that isn't watching the pre-show, Daniel Bryan says that the strength is yet to return to his arm, and another surgery is likely.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, I had heard that his arm was not getting stronger.
Yeah, that was like Arn Anderson's career-ending neck injury, is what that sounds like.
Thanks.
Because Arn
a
Anderson,
lot.
I'm just saying, Arn Anderson bounced off against the ropes, and he bounced against the ropes, and the top rope snapped, and he fell out of the ring on his neck. And then he trained to get back into the match, and somebody like gave him a light smack on the back, and he just lost all control in his arm. Like his arm was not healing, and he had to retire.
Yeah, I recall that story being told, and I don't want to hear it when we're talking about Bryan at all. I don't want to hear that.
Daniel Bryan is my favorite wrestler in the world.
Daniel Bryan used to be my favorite. He's not my favorite anymore, but still, I'm a fan.
I think Cameron
fan.
is my favorite wrestler in the world.
I'm not even going to respond to that. I am a fan of quality sports entertainment, and so I want him back. I want CM Punk back. I want a lot of people back who are good. I don't want to see any more Jack Swagger title matches and all this.
I want Khali as world champ.
No, I want to be. The key thing is I want to be entertained. Yeah. And I understand you've got to have these jobber matches and you've got to have short matches, but you can still give them stories. I mean, like you're saying, Rancis, you're a storyline guy. You like knowing what's going on. That's why you like Bray. I would say right now, Bray is my favorite guy in the company. I hang on every word that guy says.
Actually, correction. Since Daniel Bryan is out, my favorite dude in the company right now, not counting Bryan because he's injured, is Luke Harper.
Luke Harper is not as bad of a pick as some people might think.
Because Luke Harper is crazy good in the ring, and is like, what?
It's Bo Dallas.
Oh, okay, rad. But
you'll get better, Daniel. You just have to believe.
He's gonna go and make Daniel Bryan believe.
That's pretty great. Pretty great. But Luke Harper is crazy good. Dang it, man. Luke Harper's crazy good in the ring, and his promos lately have been pretty good, like the ones he's been having on SmackDown and Main Event. And I actually get disappointed when Bray Wyatt interrupts him.
Yeah, he's actually creepier than Bray Wyatt is.
Because Bray Wyatt is so bad at getting heel heat. Like, so bad at it. And Luke Harper is super good at it. And I realize Bray is dramatic, but he's not good at getting heel heat. He's not.
yeah, that was the Eric Rowan in the background there. It sounded like some kind of animal.
If you guys are in Twitter tonight, be careful because apparently there's a leaked script going around of tonight's Money in the Bank.
That's probably bullcrap. That's probably bullcrap.
And if it happens to be that way, they'll probably just change it.
I would hope so, because they didn't last time.
Yeah, but that was like... But yeah, I believe in Bo Dallas, and he will win the WWE World Heavyweight title tonight. Believe that.
He's not even in a match for it. So
hey, if you believe hard enough, he will be. He will be.
I think he eventually will.
I think that's something about Bo Dallas is I think he is better than just about anyone, with maybe the exception of Kane, at tweaking his character to make it work.
Yeah,
like
the Butterfingers comment last week was beautiful.
Butterfingers.
But yeah, because like he wasn't getting over with his NXT thing. but he tweaked. It's still basically the same thing, but he's tweaked the details of it to be a little weirder and a little goofier, and it's getting over now. Like it's seriously starting to get over.
I think it was John said this to me. He is the ultimate parody of John Cena.
He's John Cena if John Cena was on purpose.
Oh,
He's John Cena.
please tell me you guys just watch that.
No.
Believe.
Yeah, basically,
I watched the pre-show later.
he basically turns around and goes, "Bo, leave," and points to the exit.
Oh.
With that,
Nobody got my joke. I'm kind of disappointed.
Wait, what?
Nobody got my joke.
I've just read the leaked script, by the way.
yeah,
Don't tell us things from that.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
If it's right, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
If it's
I don't
wrong,
wanna hear it.
I
I don't
will,
wanna
I
hear it
will
at all.
mock it for forever.
on that note, before we all explode, I'm going to say this.
But I'm upset that nobody got my joke.
What was the joke?
The joke was, Bo Dallas is John Cena.
Oh, that's it. Well done.
That's it.
That's it? I responded to it and added to it. I don't know what else I could have done.
Renzi, on a closing note, you need to do that every week. You need to finish this show on a bad joke.
You gotta
I
tell.
will try.
You gotta make a comment that we don't even realize is a joke until
I
you
will
say
try
that it
to do
is.
that.
Right, guys. We've been live talking about Money in the Bank tonight. Rory never showed up, so the five of us, are all going to go hunt him down, and hopefully he'll be here next time. If you guys are paying attention, we're going to do another hangout tomorrow before Raw. We'll discuss all the fallout of Money in the Bank
Yeah.
and what we fully expect to happen on Raw. So we'll see you guys then. And I will talk to you all on Twitter, and keep an eye out for everyone else.
That script's wrong, by the way.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Right, see you guys later.
Okay. Bye.